First Federal Facebook page.
It is Friday morning, and it is once again time for the First Federal program. Sadly, the last one for the year.
Well, that could be sad, or you could toast. Here, Paul, you got to... No, nobody's got anything. Okay. We're toasting to a great year. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, was it a good year?
Yes. It's a great year. There's a lot of challenges, but also some silver linings. So we're going to be talking about some more of those. We've got AJ Bozzo from First Federal Savings Bank, our guest this morning. And then we've also got the triple threat, Todd Van Sickel, Tanner Lee, and myself. We're all here. We're going to be talking about a year in review for 2020 a little bit. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun shows this year, so we're not too sad that this is the final one of the year. We got some more fun coming in 2021.
Looking forward to it.
Paul, I wanted to ask you if you're setting up a live event for us to get our vaccines together as essential workers here in the spring.
You know, I actually asked Mr. Alley about that.
Yeah?
Looks like, yeah, it'll probably be February or March before we can go get one. But yeah, we can definitely have the health department come in here on a Friday morning
and
go get our vaccines together.
There's a show booked for 2021. Hey, the weather's going to be cold this weekend. It's starting to feel like winter a little bit, finally.
Yes, there's still leftover snow on the ground. Not much.
Sometimes we get more snow earlier than we did this year. It's coming a little late, but I did see a glimpse that maybe we may be getting a little snow on Christmas Eve. So if you like that kind of thing, cross your fingers.
Yes, it will definitely.
We're probably split 50-50 here in the studio on who might like that or who might not.
I like snow the week of Christmas.
There you go.
The other weeks around the year, it can stay away.
I always say let it snow on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then we go.
That's fair.
We'll split the difference. New Year's this year.
Yeah, we can go through New Year's.
Okay, we got a great trivia question this week with 4 possible answers. I don't know if that helps you or hurts you, actually. We'll see.
Might make me second or triple guess myself.
You ever read on anything on Box Office Mojo?
Not very often.
Good. According to Box Office Mojo, what's the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? A. Home Alone. B. Elf. C. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's the Jim Carrey one.
Right.
And D. Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
Which is the newer animated one.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I actually know the answer to this, so I'm feeling pretty confident.
Okay.
We'll see.
You're wrong.
Well, we can hope.
Okay, Tanner.
Yes.
Give our sports guy report.
Yes, be happy to. The local sports schedule's changing ever so often. It's almost daily, it seems like. Don't really have anything to report for the boys basketball locally. It seems like all the boys teams are kind of shut down for the time being. But there's been a lot of girls basketball in action. Now, Caston lost last night. Tippecanoe Valley got a 13-point win. And Rochester got a 28-point win over North Miami for a fellow TRC team there. So it's interesting that the girls teams haven't been impacted as much as the boys teams, but
yeah, the girls had theirs early on in the season, and so I think now the boys
got it out of the way.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully they can all get going again here soon, and I'll have more to report on that in 2021. I do have a few local college notes to speak of. Notre Dame's football team's going to be in action in the big game tomorrow. The ACC championship, first time in their school history that they're in a conference championship.
Yeah, that's weird.
Probably the last time. Who knows? Maybe someday they decide to join a conference. They've seen the benefits of it this year.
Yeah, they had a little trial run this year.
So, but while that NBC money's coming in, I don't see that happening. But they take on number 3 Clemson. Rematch from earlier this year when Notre Dame beat them up at Notre Dame, but Clemson was without star quarterback Trevor Lawrence and a couple other starting defensive linemen. So Clemson's a 10-point favorite this time around.
Interesting. Oh, that's great.
That game's tomorrow at 4 o'clock on ABC, so it's going to really go a long way in regards to who makes the college football playoff. Because we'll know that by the end of the weekend.
You think both these teams get in no matter who wins? No?
No, that's a good
AJ
question.
says no.
If
I was curious about that earlier
if
this week.
Clemson loses, that's 2 losses for Clemson. I don't know how you give a nod to 2-loss team over a 1-loss Texas A&M or possibly an undefeated Cincinnati. That's probably a stretch, but it'll be interesting.
Or a 1-loss Indiana.
I think that's a stretch.
Todd's wearing his colors this morning.
But speaking of Indiana, the annual Old Oak and Bucket game between Purdue and Indiana was canceled last week. Was rescheduled for tonight for a couple days. Canceled again as both Indiana and Purdue's teams were hit with over 20 COVID cases apiece.
You're just toying with us.
They were just
The
toying
yo-yo.
with us. I never got my hopes up this second time
You
around.
You're so controlled.
No. So
And Indiana's not getting very much love from the college football playoff either, because they're not
Sure
moving up very much. And
no.
there's New Year's Day, Big Six Bowl may be at risk.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how many bowls are played too this year. A lot of bowls are getting
I
canceled.
didn't even think I couldn't even allow myself to think that way yet.
Yeah.
Too
it's-
far off.
Too
yet.
early, yeah. Come on now.
As a Purdue fan, I know my season's over, and now we're looking for a new defensive coordinator. They fired theirs yesterday after 6 games.
So you gonna apply?
I play a lot of NFL Madden. They don't want me to run defensive plays.
Okay.
Indiana lost theirs to South Alabama too.
Yeah, so
2
that's
years in a
that's a
row.
good problem to have though when your guys are leaving for other jobs, not when you're getting fired after 6 games. It's not a very good situation. But we'll see who Purdue hires. I have no idea what direction they're going to go.
Danny Hope doesn't look too bad anymore, does he?
Yeah, I was always a Danny Hope fan, so
Oh, gosh.
so
What about Hazel?
I was not a Daryl Hazel fan. I don't think anybody was. But Indiana and Purdue basketball are both in action tomorrow in the annual Crossroads Classic. It's going to be different this year without the fans. That's really too bad. That's always a fun event for fans of all 4 fan bases to go and talk some trash and have fun.
That's good for the state of Indiana.
This is the last year on the contract of that, so we'll see if they renew that or what happens to that.
I hope at least one more year, give us
Yeah.
2021 to make up for 2020.
That's
That
right.
would be nice.
Yeah, that's a good point, Paul.
Indiana's got a 4-2 record. They play Butler, who's only 1-1. Butler was off for a month between their first and second game due to some COVID going through their team. So
They
I read
didn't-
where Butler's only had 1 practice with all the players in.
yeah, that's pretty tough to play when.
Yeah, they didn't play too well here this week.
No, Villanova's a tough team to come back and play against when you haven't
Sure
played
is.
for a month.
Ouch.
And then Purdue's 5-2. They got a win over Ohio State the other night. They played Notre Dame, who's 2-3, but one of those two wins for Notre Dame's over Kentucky. So
It was a nice win for Purdue against Ohio State.
yeah, I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get for this young team. So hopefully they can get another one tomorrow.
There's a big matchup, North Carolina and Kentucky, I think,
Yep.
tomorrow also. But is Kentucky any good this year? That's what I want to know.
They were 1-4 as of last weekend. I don't know if they played earlier this week or not. So a lot of talent, not playing too well right now. Kind of like Duke.
Yeah.
Not playing too well right now. So, and on the NFL side, the Colts got a win last week. They're 9-4. They host the Texans, who are 4-9. And the Bears are 6-7. They got a win last week. They're at the Minnesota Vikings, who are also 6-7. Both of those games are 1 o'clock. Colts are on CBS. Bears are on Fox, and of course you can listen to the Colts right here on WROI.
Kick off at
So
noon.
Colts have a pretty good chance to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I think they're pretty safe. I think they're just trying to fight for the division with Tennessee.
So I'll ask the question, thoughts on the Browns? I mean, this is one of the best years they've had since the 90s.
They got 9 wins. I mean, you can't have a losing record. That loss hurt them a little bit on Monday, but it was a
Yeah.
heck of a game.
Oh, yeah.
I still think the Browns get in the playoffs. So
About those Bears. They're going to make it?
I don't think they're going to make it. They still got a chance, but
Todd and I are still riding the Trubisky train all the way to the
yeah, he
playoffs.
played well last week. So
I don't know if Paul knew AJ's a Browns fan also, so
Oh,
you got
see,
some
there we
support.
go, yeah.
not very often you're in a room with 2 Browns fans.
Well, every Friday after the show when my dad
That's
comes in,
true.
so.
That's true. And I got some tidbits here this morning. On this day in 1966, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas aired for the first time on CBS. It's an annual tradition to be on CBS every year.
That's the only one that wasn't in our trivia, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And
Because
Todd, you may
they
know
didn't go
this.
Box office.
There was a famous actor at that time that did the narrating of that movie. You know who it was?
Vincent Price?
Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff, okay.
It was the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Glad you didn't ask
50-50
me, I
shot
wouldn't
there.
have known that.
I just found that out this week.
On this day in 1989, excuse me, I Love Lucy's Christmas episode was shown for the first time in over 30 years.
Wow.
I don't know why that is. I didn't know if one of you two maybe knew why that was.
Saying we're older, and that's why we should.
More wiser.
Okay, more wiser. I don't know.
Someone owned the rights and didn't allow it to be shown
That
for
would
a while.
make sense.
That's what I'm guessing.
We should have, I'll ask Terry Ward. She's a
Yeah.
big Lucy fan. I bet she would know.
She'll know that one.
On this day in 2002, The Two Towers, the second of the Lord of the Rings films, was released. It made $926 million total worldwide.
Wow.
You're probably a Lord of the Rings fan, aren't you, Paul?
You know, I've watched all 3 of the movies once. Twice.
I think I've watched them all once.
I
I like
watched
the
them all
books.
when they first came out, and then I watched all 3 of them back to back to back.
I'm impressed, Evan. The books are a chore to get through.
Yeah.
We read them in middle school time, I think, maybe high school. But yeah, I enjoyed those, and I thought the movies were really a good representation of the books, which is kind of rare sometimes.
Yes.
And today's Ugly Sweater Day, which we had a holiday sweater contest on our Facebook page, which you can still vote on until 5 o'clock today.
Final day of voting.
Final day of voting. It was heating up yesterday between 2 contestants. It was getting kind of what I'd call somewhat close, but the leading contestant, I think, stretched his lead a little more overnight last night. But
Some good campaigning, maybe.
yeah, he has a good strategy. Let's say that. But the amount of votes we've got so far has been awesome. And the interaction, everything.
So check out our Facebook
Yes.
page.
And what's the winner get?
$500 to the charity of their choice.
That's great.
Ooh.
So
That's
yes.
awesome.
So it's been really fun to track this week.
So when do the polls close?
5 o'clock today. So you still got a couple hours.
And no midnight counting, right?
Mail-in
midnight
ballots.
kind of-
Yeah.
the count stops at 5 o'clock. They'll be tallied up, and the results will come in pretty quick. It's also National Baked Cookies Day, Roast Suckling Pig Day.
Is that a Hawaiian thing?
Yes, it
I
is.
thought it was.
Arabic Language Day and Underdog Day. So,
There's an underdog, the cartoon? or
not as the
underdog,
cartoon, as the
Okay.
term what.
Okay.
As like Purdue would have
Sports
been
underdog.
in the boiler.
I'll give you that one, Todd. I'll give you that one. I won't rebuttal that one this year. So, exactly.
That's great. Okay, thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
We wanted to give flowers to the Fulton County Community Foundation Lilly Endowment Community Scholar, which was announced for 2021. That's Kaylin Campbell. Congratulations, Kaylin. 4-year scholarship to Indiana, State of Indiana University.
That's awesome. That's something great our foundation does through the Lilly Foundation, and it's awesome.
And then money news. You think there's going to be a stimulus package coming, guys? The stock market thought so this week. The NASDAQ and S&P hit all-time highs.
Sounds like they're still working on it, but this has been 9
Since
months
June.
now, so
Yeah.
what's taking so long if they're going to do it?
Every other country is going, why don't you guys have something that's coming out regularly?
It will happen. I don't know to what extent it'll happen, but something will happen after the first year.
This is how well our government's working this year.
Exactly.
Are you guys going to be some of the 150 million Americans shopping the Saturday before Christmas?
Not a chance.
I ditto that, same thing.
Okay, I was surprised to see that. That's like I think 40-some% are going to be doing it online this year, so that kind of makes
Wow.
more sense.
Yeah. I don't think
I got
Cyber
mine done
Monday was
early.
too much of a thing this year.
Yeah, maybe not.
Has anybody been out in the stores at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Good for
went
you.
last weekend, did my shopping with the wife. So,
Trying to avoid that, just like you.
yeah.
It has nothing to do with the pandemic. Okay, well, thinking of First Federal this morning, we're just minutes away, maybe a minute away from talking with AJ Bozzo about our mortgage loans for 2020, and then Todd's going to fill us in on some other interesting tidbits of things that have happened in First Federal's world in 2020. After that, our lobbies are closed right now, but our drive-up lanes are open during normal business hours. Our ATMs are always open. You can get money, of course, there, but you can also deposit checks or cash there as well into your account, so it's really convenient. We're open on Christmas Eve until noon and closed on Christmas Day. Of course, Christmas Day and New Year's Day are falling on Fridays this year, so that's kind of interesting. We're going to be open on Thursday, New Year's Eve, until 4 o'clock, and then closed on New Year's Day as well. But we are open on the Saturdays after Christmas and New Year's Day in our normal time, 8:30 to noon. First Federal is FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. We're going to get all this out of the way so we can talk about anything we want during this next portion. And mortgage borrowers do need to meet underwriting guidelines. AJ, hey, great to have you back in the studio.
Well, thank you. It's been a long time. Thank you for having me back. Wanted to start off by saying thank you to our communities that we serve. That's what drives us. That's what we're here for. So thank you to the community. 2020, as Evan said, was filled with personal struggles. We wish everybody the best, happiest, healthiest holiday season. With all the personal struggles that we saw in 2020, obviously it's easy to get down, but we look at the amount of customers that we're helping improve their financial position during this time, and that's what keeps us going, knowing that we're helping so many of our customers. In 2020, we served over 3,600 customers on the mortgage side only. We did well over $600 million in mortgage business and HELOC business in 2020. That's just incredible in all of our markets. And we did that without doubling or tripling our staff. You hear all these other lenders might be hiring. We pretty much have the same staff, and that did not affect our time to close. We got everybody taken care of and served in the timeliest manner. So we're very proud of that.
AJ, would you mind mentioning which markets we're doing mortgage loans in? I think that might be an interesting fact also.
Obviously, we're here in Fulton County. We have our branch in Plymouth serving Marshall and a little bit of Stark County, Elkhart County, St. Joe County, Mishawaka, South Bend, Elkhart area, Bremen. We also have underwriters down in Indianapolis market, as well as 2 LOs serving the Fort Wayne market. So we're over in Winnemac. So we're expanding our reach a little bit from where we were a decade ago, so we can serve as many customers as possible.
So 3,600 customers with same staff. We have a great experienced staff, and that speaks to how well they do with handling our customers.
Absolutely. I am in awe every day watching them work, and always trying to do what's the absolute very best for our customers. They will stay late. They've been working, some have worked on Saturdays to get these loans through because they know the effect that the refinance market has, and the saving of money is so very important to these families.
Give us an idea how many people touch one mortgage loan in our operation.
Well, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably close to 10 people at different times. 10 different people are touching a loan file as it goes through the process.
And that's why we're able to expedite it, because they're really strong, experienced, and know what they're doing. And
It's exactly that, and it's also, we have the processes in place where it's an automated flow. So when one person gets done with the file, they push it on, and the next person is notified. It's just a seamless flow of every file.
I know we keep our borrowers informed during the process too. That's something different and a plus that we do.
Right. When we send files forward, there is automated emails that periodically go out to our borrowers to tell them exactly where their loan is, if the appraisal's in, if it's been approved. So we always try and keep them updated as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
AJ, what led to such a large number of loans being completed in 2020? What caused that?
Demand, and the demand was driven by lowering of rates. We have seen an incredible 2020. Yes, we've seen rates go down, but not for the extended period that we've seen in 2020. So that gave us an opportunity over a longer period of time to help more and more customers. Rates as we talk today are still at pretty historic lows. And the economists, the forecasters, we're really not seeing anything in the economy that is going to have a big effect on the rates come 2021. So we're expecting these lower rates to continue into 2021. So if you've been putting off refinancing, now is the time to go and talk with one of our originators and see if it's beneficial for you. We see a very strong purchase market as well as a continued refinance market through 2021.
In Fulton County, we've got Ben Dalton and Stacy Wilson serving this and other communities, so that's great. We've got experienced people willing to help out.
Absolutely. We've got multiple LOs in all of our communities, and they work together. If you can't get a hold of one, get a hold of the other. We have a great online tool that we introduced in 2020, and that is called the Blend System. And what the Blend System is, it's a new online application tool for our customers. We put this in place and implemented it for customer, what do I want to say?
Experience.
Interface, experience, exactly. It's a much better, usable online tool. Customers can go to firstfederalbanking.com. They can apply through our corporate site, but that doesn't necessarily get you interacting with an LO. You can go out to each of our LO's individual web pages and apply through that. That will link that to that loan originator. Also, if you don't want to go to our website, you can simply type in apply.firstfederalbanking.com. That takes you right into our online application tool. It'll ask you to sign up. That you'll need a email and password. And then the very first page that comes up, it will ask you if you're working with somebody. So even if you haven't contacted an LO yet, it will give you the opportunity to select the LO that you want to work with during the process. You can simply click that yes, type in their name, and that loan, when you submit that application, that will notify that LO immediately of the submission, and they can get to work for you.
Of course, LO, speaking about a loan officer, we get so used to saying that every day. In case someone didn't know what that was, we got lots of loan officers that are available to help you, and as you said, we just really enjoyed serving so many customers with their home mortgage needs, and each one that we did is helping their financial situation. You know, we love applying our expertise with 50 plus years in the mortgage business.
And it's not only purchase loans and refinance, but we have a strong construction program too.
Construction is incredibly hot the last several years. As we might all know in the industry, inventory is rather low. It's hard to find a home on the market, and if you find a home, you probably need to move pretty quick because it's going to sell pretty quick.
You gotta be ready.
You gotta be ready. So even if you don't have a home in mind yet, get a hold of an originator and get a pre-approval letter. Realtors will want to see a pre-approval letter that they know that you're a serious buyer. We can provide that to you at no cost, no obligation.
That's great. Well, thank you. We've been speaking with our Vice President of Mortgage Lending, AJ Bozzo, this morning, getting a recap of 2020 and a little outlook on 21. Thank you so much for what you and your team have done this year for our communities, AJ.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure. And again, everybody stay safe. Have a great holiday season. And thank you.
Thank you, AJ. What about commercial loans, Evan? We've been doing a lot of those this year too.
Yeah, did you know we've been doing commercial lending for 4 years now, Todd? And Weren't sure how quickly that would get started, but we knew we had a lot of different mortgage loan and deposit customers that have been interested over the years in business lending. Part of the same customer service focus that AJ just mentioned in the mortgage area, they were looking for some business service, and they trusted us because of our long-term mortgage experience. So Lindy Breeden is our Vice President of Commercial Lending and has been leading that department for us. We've been having a lot of steady volume in that area, and really how it works for us is we've been winning business over the last 4 years because of how quickly we get back to the customer when they call in. Seems like other institutions move a little bit slower, maybe 60 days to get a transaction processed, and we're in that 30 to 40 day time period to get a transaction taken care of. So we're available for you. We get right back with you within 24 hours or shorter about any business inquiry on the loan side, and that seems to be something that a lot of business owners are looking for right now.
We have a great commercial loan team with Lindy Breeden and Zach Rudy.
That's right. So in 2019, we helped 66 loan customers in the 66 businesses with commercial lending, and in 2020 we'll be helping 65. So we've had a lot of success, and we get a lot of business from all 6 of our locations. AJ mentioned several of those when he was talking about our mortgage coverage, and we handle all of those from here in Fulton County, and we'll meet with a customer wherever that they would like to meet.
And what's really good is a lot of our commercial loans are coming from our existing customers and knowledge that we're doing commercial lending now. It's spreading the news in the community.
Well, and relationships are what are most important to us. So I think this shows that we're committed to our customers for what their needs may be, and we're excited to have rolled that out. Primarily, we've been working with residential rental property lending, residential real estate and development, a little bit of business equipment, some farm real estate for manufacturing plants, church loans, doctor loans, and a few business operating lines of credit. That's kind of what we've been focusing on.
So the bottom line is, if somebody has a need or an idea, call Lindy.
That's right, 223-2128, and we'll take care of you. We are competitive on interest rates, and generally we can get the loan closed within that 30 days. So we're really proud of that, and we've been excited about everything we've been able to do with business loans.
Great.
Todd?
Talk about security a little bit here, if that's okay.
Security's a really important topic. There's tends to be a lot of fraud out there as technology changes, and then also there's certain times of year that things get a little bit dicey. Tell us a little bit about
I've been
that.
in banking in quite a while, 35 years, and this is the season for scammers and fraudsters out there. So we want our customers to be aware of what's going on out there and be aware and practice good security concerns. And one of the things I just want to make clear is that your bank won't reach out to you and ask for a code or an account number or your PIN number. We know all that stuff already. So if you get a contact from somebody posing to be a banker, just think about that. If the need is really, if you're concerned about the need, hang up and call the bank directly. So just avoid scammers that are out there that are trying to take advantage of you in this time of the year. There's even some COVID vaccine scams going on now. Then there's tax scams that will be going on the first part of the year. So just there's no such thing as a free lunch, basically, and that comes down to the banking with scammers too. They're trying to entice you to come in and do something to share your information so that they can, in essence, use your information to steal your identity, and that's what we want to protect you against.
They're smart scammers. They're usually using some sort of current news or current event that they take advantage of, which can be a little bit intimidating.
Now we also have a lot of systems in place to protect your accounts and account security. For example, like if you use your debit card, we've got systems in place that monitor your purchase activity and look for unusual transactions. So we have a system that will notify you if you're doing a transaction that's kind of unusual for you. So even if you're in line at a local merchant and you've not made that purchase before at that dollar amount, you may get a text message from the bank basically saying, is this a legitimate transaction? So it's real time. So it's good to respond to that, say yes or no, if it is. That's one of the ways we contact you. By email we contact you. So even if it's not unusual activity for your account, if that merchant has experienced fraud recently, you may have shopped there, every day for the last month, weeks, and things like that, you still may get a notice from the bank saying, well, because that merchant has had high fraud activity, that just want to make sure your account and your transaction is legitimate to help protect you. So you could get notices from us while you're out there shopping for your holidays. So it's a good time to know that's going out there. Not a lot of people know that we have that system in place, but it really is to protect you and the bank from fraud. And we've seen hundreds and thousands of examples where that's worked.
Any idea on how many debit card transactions that we're working with in a month's time, Todd?
Let me think here a second.
I think we
Quarter
got.
of a million,
Okay,
approximately.
that's a lot.
Yeah, that transaction. So we're watching those transactions and trying to look out to protect you, and that's where these notices may come in play. Also, we have some other activities. We have a digital wallet, basically, with Google Pay and Apple Pay, and that's basically the securest transaction you can use. A number of digital wallet, Apple Pay, and Google Pay transactions have doubled in the last year, and the number of accounts, active cards with that has doubled too. So what happens basically is if you take your card and swipe it at a merchant, they have a record of your credit card number. They're supposed to do certain things with that, or your debit card number. But with Apple Pay and Google Pay, the merchant never knows your card number. There's an authorization code that's sent. So that authorization code changes every time.
So in the instance of a breach at like a fast food place or a pharmacy or a store that have happened in the past, if you'd used Apple Pay or Google Pay,
You
essentially
would not be exposed.
your information was
Yeah,
never
and your
transferred.
account's not exposed.
That's great.
So, and that you wouldn't be a victim of additional fraud if they're selling that account number out on the dark web or anything like that.
That's great.
So that's another thing we use. And more merchants are doing this now because there's not really a merchant I've been around, especially in Rochester, Fulton County. Most of them have access to Apple Pay and Google Pay. So all it is using your phone. If you have a contactless card, you can use that, or if an Apple Watch or something like that.
Tell us about other ways you could protect your actual debit card
We
from
have
misuse.
We have a service called Card Valet. And what that is you can actually, in real time, go on your mobile phone and turn off and on your card. So for great security, keep your card turned off all the time, and it works real time. I've tried it. If you're standing in line at a merchant, getting ready to check out, turn it on, it'll work. When you finish your transaction, turn it off, and it disables your card from additional transactions. So it's real time, so you don't have to worry about not being able to buy something or being embarrassed if you're in line at the grocery store with a cart full of goods. It'll still work, but we have lots of people using that too. And you can turn off and on the card functionality. You can do a lot of other things. You can limit geographic areas that it's used in. You can limit countries that it's used in. You can even limit the kind of merchants that the card can be used at. So if you only go to certain type of merchants, just enable those merchants to work at. So if somebody does have your number and tries to compromise your card number, it will not work anywhere else.
That's exciting. These are all ways to get some peace of mind in using your convenient payment methods, and we're proud to offer these services.
Just be cautious and practice good security practices, and if in any doubt, give us a call this holiday season. We'd be happy to help you out.
Well, we've enjoyed sharing some things that First Federal has been up to this year and some other services that we offer that we maybe don't talk about quite as much. Thanks to AJ for coming in and talking about our home lending business. We're very proud of that. We want to thank all of our customers and our community members that support us and allow us to serve. We take a lot of pride in that, and it's a real pleasure to be a local community-focused business in our markets.
And we want to thank WROI for the opportunity to come visit with you every Friday morning.
Look forward to doing it until further notice.
Okay, thank you, Todd, Tanner, and AJ. Now, let's get back to our trivia question. According to Box Office Mojo, what's the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? A. Home Alone, B. Elf, C. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or D. Dr. Seuss's The Grinch?
I'm gonna go C.
That was the Jim Carrey, Dr. Seuss's
Yes.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's incorrect.
Oh.
The answer is the latest one that came out in 2018.
Oh, okay.
It's called The Grinch. It's animated.
Okay.
$511 million is what that grossed. That surprised me a little bit. But
Yeah,
it is a good
that's
movie.
neat.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it. We watched it a couple weeks ago.
We did too.
So, first time I had seen it.
It's a funny little film.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, let's close our last show of the year with these words of wisdom. Don't watch the clock, do what it does, and keep going. This is from Sam Levinson, an American author.
Well, those are great words of wisdom, and thank you guys for a great 2020, and we'll see you in 2021.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you.